Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man Bad Chad and Queen Jolene's on the camera. We are at the Toronto Motorama and we are chopping a 1933 Dodge Plymouth two-door sedan. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So basically what we want to do is, we got a hinge up here and we got obviously the window post and the door post. So what I plan on doing is chopping the roof off. And the first piece of reconnection will be this right here. So we're not going to do anything to it here. And the reason being, we got a hinge here. We'd have to take the hinge off. If we chopped any of this out of the way, this would have to be moved and dealt with. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that right back down in place. It would be our first place that we reconnect. So what we are going to do is we're going to mark it off, what we're going to chop out of it. We've come to a decision that the back window is going to tell us how much we're going to chop out of it. We have 3.5 inches from this point of the back window to this point right here. So if we take, so we got 3.5 inches. So if we take 2, which I'm calling the tape 2 inches, and I'm calling that 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to take 2 3/4 inches out of it. That's going to be our chop. Just trying to make it as easy as possible. If I wanted to make it a 4-inch chop, I would take 2 lengths of that tape and cut it off, but we are not going to do that because we only have 3.5 in the back. What I want to do is I want to be able to, let's just mark it off for a second. What I'm going to do is first I'm going to throw a piece of tape on here just like so, just for reference point. I'm going to come down that far and start my tape. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down and start my tape. So that's not going to where I'm going to cut. I'm just going to do the exact same thing on both sides. So it looks nice when it comes back down on it. I don't want to cut it down here and the other side cut it up here. I want it the same on both sides. Also, what I'm looking for is the straightest point in the door. We're going to keep the top hinge, so the cut's going to be down here where it's nice and straight. So that'll be the point of cut. We're going to come back here. We're going to look through the same thing. We're going to try to find the straightest up and down. And we're going to do the exact same thing up the front. So I got a piece of tape on there. I'm not using a measuring tape because I'm using reference points. And I'm going to use tape only. So I'm going to put a piece of tape on here. Basically, Kenny is a brave man, the man that owns the car. This is his car, and he's allowing the chop to happen. This is a true hot rod, is it not? Can you tell us a little, can you tell Jolene a little bit about the car? Oh, okay. He hasn't got a mic on, so we'll get him close to. I'll get you to talk about it here in a minute. So I'm just going to take this tape. You know what I forgot? Is me glasses, me googles. So I'm going to say that we're going to chop that off just like that. I just use it. I'm looking at that. It might be a little bit hard to get the grinder up against that to cut that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off and do it again. And I'm going to use a piece of 2-inch tape up there instead of the 3/4 inch. It's only tape. It's only tape. So we'll do it again. We'll put this up here first. Using the hinge as a reference point, I keep saying that. think that'll be a little bit easier for us, is just to move it down a little bit, just using the hinge as a reference point with a piece of 2-inch tape, not getting into the tape measure, because I find it will complicate it a little bit. So when I go to the other side, I will do the exact same thing. I'll run a piece of 2-inch tape underneath that, then another piece of 2-inch, and then 3/4 inch. This is what I'm cutting out of it. We're on a straight part. So when we cut this off, or what I'm thinking is, this top door will be connected to this roof. We might give it a tack, maybe somewhere, maybe not. Probably maybe give it a tack there and there. When we shut the door, we'll probably tack the door when we cut it off here somewhere. We'll tack that so it'll all come off at once, like together. So there'll be nothing that's... I want to use... I'm going to use this for a second. I've got nothing for a reference point on this side. I need a marker, maybe.
A marker?
Marker. I got a marker in my pocket, actually. No, I got one. So I'm going to just put that on there. Not using it for anything other than for the straight edge. I'm going to go on the 4, close to it. I'm going to go to the other side, mark it in case I forget. Yes. Nope, it's fine. Actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea. My wire's out. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. So just gotta mark it here. Did I just pull that out? I'm just gonna mark that so I can see it. We're gonna do the exact same thing here. So I just laid that square on there and just looked across and put it on the 4-inch. It looked pretty good, so we're going to go across here and try to keep it somewhat the same. So we're going to cut this directly out. We're going to end up cutting this out. But what's going to go on here is we're going to do this. Once we cut that out, we're going to cut this down along here. This is getting cut out all the way along this body line. And the reason being is we're going to take, when we cut this out, cut that out, cut the front out, when it goes back down on, we're going to shove this piece down in behind this body molding. So when it goes down in there, then we get to weld this right on that body molding right to the roof. So there'll be no cutting in here at all. There'll be no fill work whatsoever. So we'll just go down inside here. Also, on a back window of a car, it's tempered, usually tempered glass. This is flat glass, so you would be able to get a piece of glass cut for that. But generally what you do on an automobile that has tempered glass, you cut the back window out. On this, we're not going to cut the back window out. We're just going to slide the back window down and weld along the edge. We know that we're going down in there 2 3/4 inch because that's 2-inch, that's 3/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some tape along the back side. We could just leave that on there. Probably just makes it simpler to leave that on there. I could run a 2-inch piece of tape all the way along, cut some of it off. You're not going to see that part because it's going to be down inside. It really doesn't, I don't think it matters a lot that it's down inside. We can cut it off after or whatever. Does everybody follow, sort of? So we got 2 3/4. When we take 2 3/4 out of this, we are, just so you know, so I take 2 3/4 out of this. I'm not going to because I don't have to, but if I take 2 3/4 out of this, so that's going to lead me, just guessing, that marker's not working that greatest, but that there is going to be welded right there. So this piece here, metal, will be shoved down inside, and this will be welded right there. So when we go to grind it off, we'll grind it off right in that seam, so there'll be no weld marks. You could come around, and this is what means this, you know, there's more than one way to skin the cat. We could come around and just cut it right straight around, come into the window, cut down, and do all that stuff. But when we do that, then we got a weld mark that goes all the way across here, and then we're going to have to fill it from here to there to get it to look right, basically. There's nobody welding up cars and not filling them out to make them look right. So what we're going to try to do is get by taking that piece out by cutting it down here. When we drop the roof down, dropping that down inside. So we're trying to get away from cutting around the back window. We're not going to cut any of that. Trying to make it as simple as possible, and that determined the length, or that much we're cutting out. That determined from that back window. That's how we got that, because we don't want to go up over 3.5 inches, because we'd be into the back window.
Don't want that.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Awesome. I'm going to. This front door is shut. Where's Kenny at? Wonderful. I'm going to grab that square again. I don't know if it's perfectly right on the 4 when I put that in, when I mark that. I do not know if it's perfectly right on. It's kind of just a reference point, but it looks good. When I put that on there, where did I do that? The 4 is on the bottom of the 2-inch. I did this on the 4 is on the bottom of the 2-inch, so I'm just doing the same here. Trying to make it as straight as possible. Looks like it's running up a little bit, so I'm just going to change it. If I have a gap where we cut it, does anybody know how I'm going to fix it? Coat hanger. Right, yeah, coat hanger. So, basically I'm thinking we're going to cut this out, this out, this out, down around here. When we look at it, when the roof comes down, this is going to be the first point we're going to connect back together, because that's where the hinge is. We can't move it forward or can't move it back. But when we get up here, you obviously can see that that's on a slant there. When that comes down, that's not going to meet up perfectly with that. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work going on there, because this is on a slant here too. You can picture it. When this piece comes down a little bit, this post is going to be in there a little ways. We're going to have to deal with that. When we come back here, this is going to be the exact same thing going on here. We got a little bit of difference going on here. What we're going to try to do is cut the roof off and put it back down on without doing any work up here. Like I don't want to cut anything apart to move this ahead. I don't want to cut the top of the door to move that ahead. We don't want to cut anything. I just want to try to get it come back down and fit. And it was, yeah. So now I'm going to go to the other side and just do the exact same thing I did on this side. And then I'm thinking that it's ready to cut off. I don't think we're doing that today. I think we're just going to get it marked out. But also, I'll just go to the other side and mark that off. So I'm just doing the exact same thing I did on that side. Is everybody having a great time?
Oh, wonderful.
Awesome. It's Friday. I usually wear glasses and now if we cut this thing off, right, like I see that tape coming down there a little bit on this edge, it might come down a little bit on that. We will try to cut that as straight as possible as we're cutting it. If there's a gap there, I'm going to go to the coat hanger, obviously, but basically we're going to cut that out, that off. We're going to do this middle one. On a chop job, you should have all your glass out or covered in case of sparks. So we're just going to put a piece of tape over this piece here where it's this window. We don't want any sparks down in there. And all that'll do is the sparks will stick to your glass, and then your glass gets in a mess. And we don't want to do that. Does not matter how this back window's taped off, just as long as it is taped off. thinking that'll stop from any sparks. A razor blade. You want to brace this, do you not? You want to brace this thing? You're gonna brace it? So I'm just gonna cut the tape so when you open the doors, the tape don't pull off. Sure. Do we have a razor blade or anything?
There should be a blue knife in there. Somebody's already taken it.
It's also blades.
Somebody already taken the knife that they were using it earlier.
Do we have a, Kenny, where's Kenny at?
Kenny!
We might want to cover up the gauges too, they're pretty cool. A knife?
Oh, a knife.
We just want to get a knife, X-Acto knife. We just want to cut the tape because he's going to open the door. Yeah, he's just going to open the door and brace this to this. So we still have our mark. So when he opens the door, we're just not pulling the tape off. That's all that's for. When we chop it off, we'll cut on the top of the line first. And the reason we're going to cut the top of the line off, if we cut on the bottom line, when we pull the roof off, then we all got to hold the roof and try to cut that piece off the roof. If you know what I'm trying to say. Like, if you understand what I'm saying? So we'll cut this off here, we'll pull the roof off, and then we can come back in here and cut the bottom of that line and take the piece off. That'll make it easier because the car will be holding that piece. If we cut it off down here, then we got to hold the roof on the floor and try to cut that piece off. So we'll go for the top piece first. We're going to probably clean a spot here and maybe just clean a little bit of paint off there. We want to tack that top of that door so it stays exactly where it is now. We're going to probably tack this door front to this post here. When we chop it off, that door post stays right where it should be. We don't want it to fall off. We'll just keep it there instead of having that come off, or because we're hooked there with the hinge. If I snip that off and snip that off, it's going to have a hinge there holding it. We have to take that off and do a bunch of work. We're going to try to skip that part, seeing where we're doing it on the fly at the Motorama. So basically, we're at where we're at. It's pretty well marked off. I don't think it matters where we start to cut. Like if we start to cut, we cut it off here, or if we cut it off here, I'm not sure. We'll make a decision when it comes time. Or we cut it off there, we'll pull the roof off, then we'll cut that off. So I guess we're basically ready for, we'll open the door up. This man right here is going to weld a piece of brace from this post to the front post so nothing takes off. It basically wouldn't take off anyways, but we're going to do it for security reasons. And the reason I say it would not take off is because the sill is connected to the quarter panel. That can't open up. If we tacked the door up here, it's got a hinge here, and if we tacked here, it would not come apart. But we're going to do it through the extra measure and just tack it on, or put a brace on the inside just so it doesn't go anywheres. I'm thinking that the roof will be fine because it's got to match up. So if we have to put it and play with it a little bit, it has to match up before we weld it. So we'll make sure this matches up before we do it. The car can't come apart this way because you'd have to pull this apart. So it can't, we can't open that way. When we cut the cowl part, it's not going to open up this way because it has the cowl part. So basically, all we're hoping for is it doesn't move this way. When we cut the roof off, the roof is a big part of your construction of your car. It could maybe come in a little bit. I know it's on a full chassis, but it could come in a little bit, so that's why we're going to brace it from this post up to the front door post. This is the A pillar. A, B, C, D. I think that's how it goes, isn't it? So anyways, that's what we're going to do. We're just lining it up today, and then we'll be cutting it off tomorrow. I think there'll be a few more people around that'll be interested in what we're doing. I'm going to let you do your magic.
Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah, if you want to put a brace on the inside.
You gonna give us a hand?
I can. Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
We'll measure it up, and I'll plug in the grinder over there. And we'll cut some steel. So we'll just
Where's the steel? What steel you want to put in it? What steel?
square tubing right here.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Look at some badass stuff.
Yeah.
I got a marker right here in my pocket.
So we'll just go like this, and then once we get the two side ones in, then we'll go across.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
I'll get the grinder plugged in and some safety.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if. We're going to brace it from here to there. So what I like to do, I like to keep the tape measure out of everything. I'm just going to run a piece like that, hold that there like that. So I will take this piece, I'll take this piece, cut it off, and I'll take this piece. I don't even think I will, don't have to cut it again, but basically that's how I like to do it. I know where the post is. I know where the post is, so I just put it up like that. And made sure that it reached. We have wood inside the car. We'll make it a little bit longer. Yeah, I'll cut with the grinder. Yeah. There's wood in the A pillar, so I'm going to have to make sure that I get it long enough. I'm going to take some tape and cover them gauges up.
We'll cut a piece of this.
If you need more, well then, I don't know if that'll go all the way. Have to probably cut it in half. Let me cut it in half.
Yeah, I'll just roll it.
A pair of scissors right here if you want to cut it. You're a big boy, you can cut it
Little rip?
in half. Yeah. Want that? A pair of glasses. Wow, is that
That's good.
everything going good, sweetheart? I'm gonna take that tape measure just to make sure. Cut it in the center. I'm going to use the tape measure, cut it in the center. 8 feet. I had it right on the money. That is driving me nuts. It's going to pop off again. I know it. one piece for that side. It's not too late to change your mind, Kenny. Not too late to change your mind.
Did you get enough out of one piece for both sides? Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
So we haven't got metal all the way. We just got like one tack. You don't see the metal on both sides there.
It's more for show than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get a light there.
We'll have to knock that out. It's got a nice piece of metal up there, isn't it? Yeah, it's got a nice piece of metal there. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that there and we'll just knock it on the edge.
Okay.
We're gonna get the welder going.
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Is this welder turned on? We're using a Lincoln Electric. Lincoln Electric's been especially good to me over the last little bit. I've used nothing but a Lincoln Electric welder most of my life, and the reason is this one I could buy reasonable. Cheaper than most of the rest of them. I could buy it reasonable. It always did the job. It has never failed me. And if you're buying a new welder, check out Lincoln. They didn't pay me to say that, but they're awful nice to me.
That's brand new. We just took it out of the box, so we're gonna have to.
This thing has not had a spanking yet, so we'll go with. That'll give me a ground. That'll give me a ground one. I'm just going to put
the bar up for you.
Yeah.
Put it on the bar.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to. If nobody knows yet, if you want to see what's going on here, what I'm doing with the welder, I wonder how you turn that sucker in. We got no. Listening for gas to come out. No gas coming yet. Oh, there we go. No gas coming out yet. I should hit. No. What has to happen is I need there should be a turn knob there.
Yeah, mine has one.
Yeah.
Here, yeah.
And I need. Do we know whether there's a turn knob for this welder? Like, do we have any idea? This might be the bad boy. Bad boy, what you gonna do? Bad Chad runs wild on you.
Got it.
I learned that from Hulk Hogan. There we go. I got gas coming out of it. I like to set it around my gas. I like to set it around 10 or 15. And the reason I like to set it around 10 or 15 is because I don't want to use the gas up in a hurry. It costs money.
Yes.
And it seems to work at 10 or 15, so that's where I use it. They probably would tell you that more gas, the better. I got it. I found that piece, yeah. So I'm running on 12, I guess I'll say I'm running it on the gas. When I start welding with this thing, I like to start my welder about that far from the metal. If anybody wants to know, I start about that far away from the metal where the wire is. Just for let you know, just so you know. I'm gonna try just burn it on. Let's see what happens. Just so sparks away. See what happens. Now, I like to generally have it on C and speed on 5 or 6, I guess. It's going to spit and sputter, no doubt in my mind, because I'm not cleaning up the metal on the inside. I'm going to start it on the square stock, because that's where I got the ground on the square stock, so I'll start the weld on the ground stock, and then I'll try to burn the paint off on the car, and that should be good enough. Is there a helmet anywhere?
Yeah, right behind you.
Everything's brand new without a spanking, and we're going to take a spanking on it. I'm going to
Try the back first here.
I'm going to try the back first. Can we get that in further? So we're like, how about that? You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to go for it. We have a pour, what? I'm not sure what we got pour going on. Water speed. Watch your eyes.
Yep.
What?
Not working right?
We're just going back into the welder, trying to figure out what's going on. Not real good.
Tighten down the tension.
Maybe. See what happens.
If not, we can go get the replica.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas.
I'm hoping that's stuck on. It's just playing with me. Watch your eyes.
Yep. Good.
Did it stay?
Yep. He's good. He's good.
We'll run that to the other side.
Yep.
Oh, I'll bring it around.
Yeah, just run it through here.
I'm actually gonna bring this welder around.
Yeah. You got enough cord?
I'm hoping so. So maybe some of the worst jobs of all doing this is moving the welder around without being tied up or caught up. We'll try to just take a look back there, just see if we got this in the same spot. You know what I mean? Like just take a reference point.
Yeah, see that circle there?
Okay, we're right in the middle.
Just go.
Right about there somewhere?
Yep.
Cool.
Just go back.
What we're doing, what we're looking for, we're just using a reference point on that side where we put the square stock in. We're just going to put the exact same on this side. Makes sense, doesn't it? To me, it does.
Come on. Get a bit finicky.
You got that right. There's a, maybe I got to tighten it up some.
Doesn't like the sound of a good weld.
I don't know if it's really welding that great, but
It's good for the bracing. Right?
Yeah.
If we're doing fine.
come on. Hope I didn't get you. Watch your eyes. Watch your eyes.
Yep.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. Good enough?
Enough. Yep. Then
Once what-
we'll just lay one on the top here across the back.
Okay, do you want to, do we want them in the middle, or did you want it in the back? Where do you want it?
Yeah, we'll just lay it in the back right here. Like that.
Or are we going to be able to shut the door, I wonder?
Yeah, we should be able to.
We're just going to check and see if we can shut the door. Okay, cool. Perfect. So,
We'll cut it and go across the back here.
okay. What's going on here now? Oh, there's 3 different settings on that bad boy. So we're just going to measure a piece and cut it.
Tape measure. You want to rest it right on top?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Say 49 and a quarter. I can rest, actually, I can go 49 and a half. 49, and we still got gap.
You got your marker or no?
No, don't need it. I don't think I do. 49 and a half was the number, eh? I think.
What? Beautiful. Looks like a glove.
Need a helmet. Now, when I weld this on here, we don't want to weld on the post, just weld on this metal. Yeah. So I'm going to weld this piece going across so I can get the zip cut to get it off easy. Makes sense, doesn't it? That's basically what I'm thinking. Watch your eyeballs.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure if that is set exactly.
Penetrating them as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure of that. And what we'll do by tomorrow, we'll get that guy come over. Get that guy come over, maybe soon.
Yeah, yep.
It's working, but
Yeah, we'll have him set it up since it's a brand new machine.
yeah, like I don't know the numbers on that. What that really means. I just shut that off, or I don't even know how to shut the machine off yet, so do you know how to shut this machine off? I pull the cord, it'll shut it off. I'll just do that for a second, see if it shuts off after a bit.
The roof's going to come off around 11:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
11:30, so we want to tell everybody.
Yeah. So, I haven't got the welder shut off yet. I'm going to turn the gas off. We are not going to cut the roof off right this present moment. We're going to cut it off 11:30 tomorrow. We're going to give Kenny some more time to consider not doing it. So we're thinking that there'll be more people around tomorrow. This is a... Here. Kenny, come talk into the mic for a second. Or actually, don't have to talk to this, just talk to me. Kenny was telling me, can you give us a little history on the car?
So, this car was built as a hot rod back in 1957 through 63. And it was parked in 65, so it sat in storage for over 50 years. And the gentleman that built it is 103 years old. he still drives. He might even be here on Saturday if the weather's good. But his father bought it when it came from China back in 32 and sold it to his oldest son in 1948, traded it for a typewriter. And I guess typewriters were worth $200-300 back then.
That was yesterday's computer, was it not?
That was yesterday's computer. And then in 1954, his younger brother bought it, paid $100 for it, and blew the motor up in '54. And they would read these little digest books. These we know them, little popular hot rodding, not magazines, but the little digest. And this is what they created. Now, so it's got a 1957 Olds rear end. The interior was professionally done back in 1961, but it's all out right now. And he told me that it cost him $275.
Okay, cool.
And he said he thought he was going to have to go out and rob a bank. So that was a full interior. So the same interior today might cost $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So,
don't tell them that. They might not charge you that much.
yeah. So it sat in storage for forever, over 50 years. I rented a house. It was parked in the garage. No, wouldn't sell it to me. Gonna do something with it someday. And he called me in 2018 and said, hey, I want to sell the car. And that's when I came across it. And
This was the original engine in it when you got it?
that was the original engine that
Had the tri power on it?
yeah, it
Wow.
hadn't
cool.
run in 50 years. And when I went to start it, it was solid. I took an 8-foot bar and some tranny fluid and slowly did one of these. It took me about 6 months to get it to turn over. And that's the original radiator. It's got a 61 Econoline front axle in it, 1932 Chevy headlights, 1939 Chevy tail lights. The car's air-attract. I'm not going to touch it. It's staying the way it is. The only thing that's probably not correct, and I like to drive the car, is I put radial tires on it. But it's got Nerf bars on the front and back and instead of bumpers, and everything's air-attract on this car. So
It's pretty cool. And you're going to let us chop it?
listen, Chad's going to do his magic on it like he does all the time, so I got 100% confidence in you, and I look forward to seeing what you can do with it.
Well, we're just going to give it a haircut.
Yeah, just a little trim on the side, so.
2 3/4, and we're going to do that tomorrow. What time? So we're going to start at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and it's going to be coming off at 12 o'clock noon, about there. If you want to watch, come on back and see the roof being lifted off. It'll probably take a couple of us, that's for sure. And alrighty, we're all set for tomorrow. Thanks everybody for coming back. We appreciate it. We're at the Toronto Motorama, and the cars here are top notch. We want to thank everybody for coming out and checking this out. We've got to thank Kenny for allowing us to chop his car during the car show. And like, share, comment, come back, and subscribe.